SS&B means comfort to me.
Hello again, I'm Jesse with SS&B Heating and Cooling in Springfield, Missouri. Today we're going to talk about Trane's CleanEffects electronic air cleaner for your whole home. This is a great unit, does a great job of purifying the air in your home. It doesn't just filter it like a normal filter would, but it actually purifies it. And you'll see that when you go to clean the components out, to see what it's taking out of your air that you're breathing. It's great for your indoor air quality. So what are we going to talk about today? How to maintain it, how to do your maintenance as the homeowner, and what the different components on it are. This is your Trane CleanEffects electronic air cleaner. This is the power button and also the power light. It's backlit from behind in blue, as you can see. This is the reset button that you can use for two different functions. You're going to be cleaning two components inside, and there's a different reset function for each of the filters that you can clean out. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Here's your indicator light for your collection cell. It's going to slowly fill up from green to yellow to red, and when it's red all the way to the top, you know it's time to clean the collection cells inside. When this pre-filter light turns red, which it's a dark spot right now, when it turns red, it's time to clean the pre-filter. You should clean the pre-filter about once a month. Your home may require more cleaning, or more frequent cleaning, or less frequent cleaning, so keep an eye on it. You'll notice here that this one little green light is flashing. That means that the unit is turned on right now. That's the running indicator light. If it's a solid green, the system has power, but it's not actually running. When you have an EAC, which I'm going to call electronic air cleaners for short, you should probably run the blower full time, so that way you're purifying the air in your house all the time. You don't have to though. But you'll notice when this blower stops, this light will turn solid green. So sometimes some debris will get in there, or maybe some cobwebs or something, and they'll span a couple of electronic components. You'll probably see 3 yellow lights flashing in a situation like that. 3 yellow lights flashing means it's definitely time to pull out the parts, give it a cleaning. If you see 3 red lights flashing in here, something has gone wrong with the electronics. And then it's time to call us or another Trane certified professional company to come out and see what's wrong with the electronics in your EAC. So let's get to the components. This is the door that we're looking at. You may notice this is a furnace that is made for upflow. Yours may be upside down. The plug might be on the other side and it might be oriented the other way because you have a downflow unit. Don't worry about that too much. Yes, everything will be a mirror image of yours. Yours might even be up and down in your home. It doesn't make a big deal which direction it's oriented in, as long as you get the parts back in the right way, and that's pretty easy to do because they're only made to fit in certain shelves. So before you start doing your maintenance on this, I'd recommend taking a picture, because it may not be oriented this way and you may not be able to refer back to this video, but you can refer back to a picture that you took with your camera or phone yourself. Take a picture, and once you get the door off, take another picture to see which way the parts are oriented. So before we want to work on this, we want to power it off. So to power it off, we're going to hold the power button down. You'll see it go all the way up and start coming back down. That's a 15-second counter to make sure that all the electronics are discharging, so you don't get zapped when you take it apart. Now this light is solid green, which means it's powered but not running. That's good, that's where you want it to be. Once it reaches down to there, you can disconnect the power cable. We make sure here that you can see the power cable. There's the power cable. On the power cable, there's a little plug with a latch. Squeeze the latch, just like a buckle, and it will come right out. You saw the power cut out there. Here's what the latch looks like. Just one little squeezy latch right there. It only goes in one way, so you don't have to worry about which way it's facing because it only goes in one way. Okay, we've got that off. Some of these units have door latches and some do not. The newer ones do not. They've got rollers on the inside, and you'll see that in a second. Most of the units that are out there in the field right now have these door latches. So they look like this. So that's closed and that's open. So the first thing you're going to want to do is pop those off, and then it will swing out. It will swing out because these two latches act like hinges. And you'll see that where they come out of, there's two little spots in the track, two little slots in the track that this will swing down out of. Alright, so open your latches, swing it down, and be very careful with this door. This door has all the electronics, all the sensitive equipment. The circuit board is in here, the fuse, there's a transformer, there's all kinds of sensitive stuff inside this door, so be careful. Please don't drop it. Let's take this one off. This one you pull off. If it doesn't have door latches, you pull it straight out with just a little tug. And you'll see, instead of latches, it's got these rollers on it, on the top and the bottom. Okay, the back side of the door has these brass electric nodes here. First thing to look at on the back side of the door is if there's any corrosion. You want to make sure that there's no corrosion. There could be green rust or orange rust or white rust. You don't want to see any corrosion on there. If you do, give us a call. We'll come out and make sure that it's cleaned properly. Okay, I'm going to carefully set this one down. If there's any extra dust and stuff collected on there, you feel free to wipe it off with a soft rag. No big deal. And here we go. This is the guts of it. So you've got the pre-filter, the charging cell, also known as the ionizing panel, and then the collection cell, also known as the honeycomb, and you'll see why we call it that in a minute. Let's angle this down just a little bit. There we go. So the first thing that you would do for maintenance is pull out the pre-filter. Note, this is a good part to take a picture before you get all the parts out. Pull out the pre-filter here, and one side of it's going to be dirty. It's going to have stuff on it. Probably dust, debris like that. The way that we recommend to clean this is with a vacuum cleaner. You can use a brush with or without a brush, soft brush on the vacuum to clean it off on both sides, and a grid pattern. Also, if you want to wash it with water, you can do that too. Warm water, as long as you're not using pressurized water. Don't use pressure washer on this thing, or it might just tear it apart. If you find that after a while, after a couple years of use, you get like a waxy buildup, and just vacuuming or water washing isn't getting off like a grayish waxy buildup on there, feel free to take a very mild detergent, very mild degreaser like Simple Green, something like that. Give it a spray, let it set for a couple seconds, and then rinse it off in the faucet or in a hose outside with low pressure. Okay. Then, if you use water, let it dry out. If you just use the vacuum, you don't have to worry about it. It's ready to put back in, but we're going to put it to the side for a second while we look at the other parts. As I mentioned, this is the charging cell. This is the very sensitive piece of equipment. If you notice a lot of buildup or stuff in there that looks like it should probably be taken care of, give us a call or another Trane authorized dealer. You can look at the power nodes here to see if there's any corrosion. This one's nice and clean. We want to leave that right where it is. Sharp edges. This part not serviceable by homeowner. Don't want to void that warranty. So let's get out the collection cell. This one looks like it's having trouble getting by this little clip. Ah, there we go. And this is why we call it the honeycomb. It's kind of got like a grid pattern, you can see. And this is what collects all the ionized particles that's purifying your air. See, one side's always going to be a lot dirtier than the other because it's doing all the collecting. So we recommend you clean this with a vacuum on both sides. Start with the dirty side. Put suction on it and grid pattern. Feel free to use a brush as long as it's a very soft bristle brush. Clean both sides with the vacuum. Trane also says that if there's any kind of greasy buildup on this, you can also wash it with water. Low pressure, warm water will help get rid of tougher stains on it. But make sure you let it dry thoroughly, and it could take 8 to 12 hours for it to dry thoroughly. Whatever you do, don't submerge it completely, just rinse it with gentle water. And of course, make sure to look at the power nodes on the front and on the back. Power nodes, corrosion can build up in. Won't work quite right. Okay, there are 2 of these that are stacked front to back. So sometimes you gotta really reach in there to get that second one, but it does have a flip down handle just like this one. Reach all the way in there. There we go. So that handle flipped right down like this. Pull this one out, do the same thing. Now these panels can only go in one way. You'll figure that out pretty quickly because you'll see that the one side has a track on it. And this track is meant to go inside on this one little metal node right here. If you try to put it in upside down, it won't fit. So pull out your 2 sections of the collector cells, clean them off, vacuum them, rinse them, let them dry. If they're dry, ready to put back in, put them back in. There we go. Fold up the handle. Time to put the pre-filter back in. Shh, don't tell them I didn't clean this one, okay? This is just for show purposes. It should look cleaner than that. Nice dark gray charcoal color when it's finished. It's okay if your furnace closet doesn't have much room in it. It's okay to twist this one just a little bit to get it into where she needs to go. It's got some flex to it, so as you can see right here, a little bit of flex to it. So if you need to get it by a door frame, you can flex it a little bit. And this one will only go in one way also. You'll notice that it has to meet up that way, and it says airflow on there. Okay, and I think that's about it. As I mentioned, if you see corrosion on here or here, or in there, give us a call. We can do a full maintenance on it. Let's see, and we'll get that door back on. Now, if you had this other door, the one with the hinges, which most models do have the one with the door latches, you'll notice that on the side that's opposite the latches, you'll see these 2 prongs that I talked about earlier, and there would be 2 slots. So you would line those right into those slots, and then fold it in like a hinge, and then lock those down. Make sure that the ends are even and seated. Oh, another thing I may have mentioned earlier, the metal prongs right here. This is the main source of power throughout the unit. Don't bend these metal prongs that are right here on the unit, right here. Those will go into these holes and complete the circuit for electricity. And if you put this back on and you hear a whistling sound, then something wasn't done quite right. Pop off the hinges and give it another shot. There we go. Once we got the door back on, you would latch the hinges back down if you have latches. Get our power cable. Put that back in there. Press the power button, and she comes back on. Now, if this one were dirty, you would see the indicator lights up in here in the yellow or red, right? They would still be yellow or red even after you cleaned it. So how do you reset it? You reset it by pressing the reset button, holding it in for 2 seconds to clear out the pre-filter light, and then again holding it down for 5 seconds to clean out the collection cell light. Sorry that I don't have a dirty one to display for you. Maybe we can cut to another video right there. But that's it. Once you're done with that, the power comes on. You'll notice that the blower is running right now, but the light's not flashing, and it should be. It should be operating while the blower is doing. But this has an automatic 10-minute delay for safety, because if you put it back in and it's still a little bit wet, then it's going to dry it out or give it a chance to get debris and stuff that may have gotten disturbed when you were taking it apart from causing problems. So there will be a 10-minute delay before this starts blinking and it starts purifying the air again. And that is just about it. If you have any other questions, give us a call. Check out our website, ssbhc.com. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Service and quality that keep you smiling. SS&B means comfort to me.